Hello and welcome back to this second part of my character creation series for Mutants and Masterminds. So what we're going to be working with today is going to be character concept. So the most important thing towards playing this game before abilities, skills, powers, anything like that is to come up with a firm character concept, because without a firm character concept, you are essentially blind in terms of how your character wants to grow and how they'll improve. As I've gotten to know the system a lot better and I've played different games with different people, the constant comment that comes up is, when is too much too much? So I feel that character concept and having a firm idea of who your character will be when you play them is the solution to 90% of the design and balance issues that most GMs and players will have. I call this problem the character chimera, where you're just attaching and stitching and stapling different facets of things you enjoy together until the character's so unrecognizable that you have no interest in playing it anymore. So here's some solutions to the character chimera problem. So the way that I look at character creation with Mutants and Masterminds, it's more of a deductive kind of reasoning behind the choices that your characters make, where the character is informed by the plot and the setting, and it then reflects it back in changing the plot and the setting. What you're looking for is kind of a marble sculpting effect, where you must first remove what you don't want to get a firmer idea of what you do want. So what I like to start with is determining what your character doesn't do in order to find out what they do. Of course, when you're making a superpowered hero, the first question is, what are their powers? What sets them apart from the average citizen, and how do they use that in order to make society better? Is your character super strong? Do they read minds? Do they fly? Do they turn into animals? Do they have 10 different superpowered forms that they can change into to suit their needs? So all of these things are one of the first ways to generate interest in a character concept, and usually that's where I like to start off first. You're looking for a singular, immutable idea that you can draw a wealth of desire and interest in. And while I can't condone outright plagiarizing other characters, if you wanted to take general concepts from the characters, their powers, their complications, and their motivations, I can't stop you. That's your game. What ripped off characters you have is none of my business. From here, we're looking at the source of their powers. The game calls them descriptors, and they're generally used to decide when powers get canceled with nullify, weaken, other things like that. Is it from alien physiology? Are they magical? Did they gain their powers through intense training and meditation? Do their powers come from multiple sources? These are all things we can decide at this point in time to better understand and build from the original power. So while you might gain super strength because you're an alien, if you gain it because you have some sort of vengeful god who brought you back to life to seek vengeance, those two character concepts are almost exactly the same, super strength, but because the descriptor is different and the source of the power is different, you have two completely different characters. And I'm positive you had two completely different superheroes from comic books in mind when I said that. The next step is to give it examples of the powers that they have. If they're a psychic, do they make illusions? Do they shoot bolts of telepathic energy at people? Are they able to read minds and bridge minds? Are they able to enter dreams? These are like a laundry list of powers that your character might have. And then using our same marble sculpting method, we're going to go around and start striking off the things that you determine aren't necessary for the character at a later point in time. Next step is to determine what they cannot do with their powers. So continuing with my marble sculpting idea, what you're drawing on are complications to your character that you can use to generate hero points in the future. So I know the big ones are usually like an aquatic character can't be too near flames. A character might have a weakness to some absurd concept like a fictional mineral or an entire color on the visible light spectrum. Things like this ground your character and give them depth. Next step is to determine how they fight crime. So Mutants and Masterminds is written around the idea that your character is a superhero, and while they might play a supervillain, we're following the same basic concept. What kinds of crime do they commit? So what we're doing here is we're establishing for a game master the challenges and the difficulties of your character, so that when you start getting into the hard number crunchy elements of the game, you can determine whether your character will be good at something based on their character concept. Now, where does this leave us? Hopefully, in thoroughly working out the concepts of your character, you've created maybe a paragraph long or multiple paragraphs long idea for your character. You're going to now take this, and we will move on into the future aspects of the character creation videos and determine how that lines up with what you're looking for in your character. But that wraps up this video. As always, I'm your friendly GM Evan. If you like what we're doing here, go ahead and comment, like, subscribe, check out my other content, my podcast, the blog, where you'll find more information regarding all aspects of character conception and some of the other characters that I've made for use in your games. Thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned.